So today I will not be making a recipe. Honestly, you really don't need another recipe. And what I'm going to talk about today I think is more important than another recipe. Recipes are great, don't get me wrong. I love creating recipes for you guys, but there's some other principles that to me are more important, and we're going to go over those today. This video is for those of you that are trying to lose fat. So if you're not trying to lose fat, then you probably don't need to watch this video, or you could save it for another time when you do want to lose fat, if you get to that point. I'm going to go over what I call my fat loss protocol. As some of you know, I'm a nurse, and at the hospital we have protocols for everything. And protocols are very important because it makes sure that we treat each situation the same. So things are consistent, they're done the right way, and everyone's safe. So protocols are really important in my life at work, and they also apply to this fat loss protocol. They're very simple, things are lined out for you, and it helps you remain consistent. I feel you don't need another recipe. What you need are to put systems in place, habits, or a protocol. And you can make your own protocol, whatever you think that you can live with, because that's the one that's going to keep you consistent. And this is my protocol, and it's the one I live by when I'm trying to shed some fat. And it keeps me on track, it keeps me locked in, and it helps me to be successful. And it's safe. I'm not doing anything crazy that's going to jeopardize my health. It's just basic things. So I'm going to go over my protocol, and you can take it for what it's worth. You can make your own. If you want to use mine, that's great. I'm going to talk about these things in no particular order. I don't think one is more important than the other. They all work together. So let's get started. I have my notes here so I don't forget anything. And I'm going to start with number one. And this one is something that I work on a lot. It's the mindset. And it's very important that you have your mind right, that you're in a good state of mind. We can tend to get very down on ourselves, especially if we're not seeing the results we want. And we can do a lot of negative self-talk, and that's so detrimental to your mindset. It's not very productive, and it actually works against you. So what I do, and it's very quick, I do it in the morning, you could do it at night. I do a quick little journaling. I write down what I'm grateful for. It could be one thing, it could be 5 things, but I write something down. I write down affirmations and my intentions. And it could be anything like, I'm getting stronger every day. I love to work out. I love to lift weights. I walk 10,000 steps a day. You want to write these affirmations as if you're already doing them, as if you are already living it. One of my favorite ones is to write is, I'm an athlete, I'm strong, I'm calm, I'm capable. Because you are an athlete, you are strong, you are capable, and that's all inside of us. We just need to stop the negative self-talk and bring it to the forefront. And it's not always an easy process. It takes time, and it's something that I think I'll probably work on for the rest of my life. And we all come to the table with different baggage, trauma, different situations in our lives. And so it's important that you recognize that and you address it and you try to heal from that. Affirmations are a really good way to do that. And that way I catch myself during the day when I start getting down on myself, that I'm like, nope, I am strong, I am capable. And my whole list that I have. And you could write down 2 or 3 affirmations or 10, it doesn't matter. Just something that will help get you in the right mindset. And just focus on progress, not perfection. Just every day you're getting better, and that's, all you can really hope for. Number 2 in my protocol is prioritizing protein and fiber. I make sure that I have protein at every meal, I have fiber at every meal, and this helps me feel full and satisfied. And fiber is really important, just as important as to me as protein, to feed those gut microbiome, to get your gut in good shape, and it just helps with your overall health. You want to focus on primary proteins like tofu, tempeh, seitan, if you're able to eat wheat, edamame, and then you can throw in some beans, some quinoa, which are like secondary proteins. And I use protein powder as well, because for me, my goal is to lose fat and build muscle. So I am upping my protein. And maybe that's not your goal and your protocol might look different than mine, but if you're trying to, get healthy, build muscle, lose fat, then you're going to want to prioritize fiber and protein. The next point in my protocol is tracking. I've got to track my food. I'm the kind of person that I need to track to hold myself accountable. Otherwise, I'm just going to go willy-nilly. And I know that about myself, and it's not a burden. I've been doing it for so long that it's quite simple for me, and it takes me no time at all. Most of it's just copy and paste to the next day, because I basically eat the same thing every day, and it's really not difficult. And that way I know that I'm hitting my calorie deficit, my protein, and my fiber. So tracking, you can use Chronometer, MyFitnessPal, even if you just write it on a piece of paper, but keeping track of your food will really help. Some people might think that that is obsessive, but I think it's being focused, it's being locked in. And I'm not going to do this forever. It's during my fat loss phase. But the point is that you are creating habits. You're creating things that are going to keep you consistent. And it's really the only thing that has really helped me get to where I am today. And then the next point in my protocol is eating mostly whole foods. So you want to eat your fruits, your veggies. Yes, tofu is a little bit processed, but not that much. You just want to stay away from the packaged things that come in a box. I like to make my Greek yogurt, and I eat that every day. And I make my bagels, I eat that every day. If you're going to eat bread, get things that are really whole grain. Like Ezekiel bread is great if you have no problems with wheat. Plate building is really important. I like to build my plate in a certain way. I like to do half my plate of veggies or a big salad. And then on the other side, I have protein and maybe a little bit of beans, a little bit of starch. That's just up to you, but mostly it's going to be veggies and protein and a little bit of starch. That's how I've been building my plate, and it's been working great for me. And then you want to stay in a moderate calorie deficit. So check the TDEE calculator. I'll leave the link below. It'll tell you what your maintenance calories are, and then subtract 15, maybe 20% off of that, and have that be your calorie deficit. And then stick with that for a while and see how you do. Don't do it for like a week. Oh, I'm not losing any weight, I gotta reduce my calories. No, stick with it. Give it at least a good month or even 2 months and let your body adjust. And that's what I did. I started with about 1,500 calories, and I did that for about 8 weeks. And now I'm at about 1,400 calories. And I'll probably continue that till the end of my cut. Just see how your body responds. And then this isn't part of the protocol, but I really recommend getting the Hume body pod so you can see if you're building muscle, losing fat, what's happening inside your body, because that number on the scale doesn't really mean anything. And if you use my discount code, and they're always having some kind of a sale, you use those together and you can get up to 50% off. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's a really good investment, and then it's a free app that you can use, and it keeps track of everything. And everybody in the family can use it. Everybody downloads their own app and puts their own information in, and so you only need one scale for the whole family. So it's pretty good. So I'll leave a link to that below with my discount code. It's just been a really good tool in these last few years as to seeing what my body's doing, because I'm really trying to build muscle and change my body composition, and it's really helped. Another important part of my protocol is walking, movement. And it's been tough for me lately because I have a neuroma on my foot, or something on my foot. One doctor says it's a neuroma, another doctor says it's not, so I'm not sure, but it is getting better, but it's really hindered my walking. And so if you have the ability to get out there and walk, please do so. And wherever you are, just increase it a little bit. Maybe you increase it 500, 1,000 steps a day, and then the next week you go up a little more. And then just keep going until you get around 10,000 steps. If you can do more, great. But let's say you can only do 3,000 steps, that's great. You know, the next week, do 3,500 and then 4,000, and just slowly creep up. And try to aim for 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. I was only doing about 4 or 5, and now I'm up to 7 or 8. And I was doing, before my foot injury, however I did that, I was doing 10, 11,000 steps a day. So just start where you are and keep going. And if you hear noises outside, my husband's doing yard work, opening the garage door, he's got his blower, whatever. So what are you going to do? You could also, getting back to walking, you could also just do little spurts throughout the day. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening, and then you can get, you know, a good 30 minutes in. But just try and get some movement in. Even if you're just walking laps in your house, if the weather's bad. And then strength training. I like to strength train 3 times a week. I do full body 3 times a week. Some people like to split it up, but for my schedule and my life, 3 times a week is perfect. I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do my walking every day, and then, you know, done. And I lift heavy. And what I mean by that is I lift as much as I can with proper form, not to hurt myself, that I can do like 4 to 6 reps. If you're able to do 20 or 30 reps on a machine, then it's too light. You need to put a little stress on your muscles. That way it breaks down the muscles, then it repairs, and that's where the building starts. Now that's a very simplified version of what really happens in the body, but you can Google it and you'll see the full explanation. And keep it simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. If you can't get to the gym, then do it at home. Get the resistance bands. Just start somewhere and work your way up. And if you're eating enough protein and eating the right amount of calories, you're going to have the energy to do all this. Okay, so you don't need to be starving. Yeah, it's great if you eat breakfast and then before lunch you start getting hungry. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to work. But, you know, if you're not fueling your body, then doing these walks and the workouts are just going to be a struggle. And the last one is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, if you can. Unless you're one of these people that can survive on, 4 or 5 hours. I'm not one of those people. So I highly recommend 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, then do some breathing. It's a really easy technique. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8 seconds. And you do that like 20 times. Half the time I don't even make it to 20, you'll fall back asleep. But just doing that breathing will help calm your mind and you can get back to sleep. And then you've heard this a million times, no screens before you go to bed. You don't want to exercise right before you go to bed. Reading is a great thing to do at night before you go to bed. Read for 20 minutes. Sleep is really important. That's when your muscles repair. That's when your brain gets cleansed. If you're not going into deep sleep, your brain goes through something really interesting and it cleans itself. And there's studies that are saying that if you don't get enough sleep, this increases your chances of getting dementia or Alzheimer's. When I heard that about Alzheimer's and dementia, I knew that sleep had to really be important, had to be a priority. 7 to 8 hours, do the best you can. Maybe there's some nights you get 6, but try to be consistent with the 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You're going to notice a big difference. That way your muscles are repairing, your brain is getting its rest. You'll be inspired to eat healthy and move. What you will notice when you follow your protocol that you will have more energy, you will start losing fat, your body will recomp, and you'll be more successful. So having a protocol or a system or habits, whatever you want to call it, something that you can live with. Because let's face it, I can show you a million recipes, but if you don't have some kind of system in place for you, where you are getting enough sleep, you are regularly working out, walking, all the things I mentioned in this video, then it's really tough to be successful, and you keep having to start over. And I don't know about you, but I got tired of starting over every Monday. I stopped doing that years ago. Just start where you are today. And you know what? If a day goes and you didn't do what you were supposed to do or what you wanted to do, put it in the back and don't talk negative about yourself. It's just a lesson learned that you need to stick to your protocol. So I hope this video helped you. I hope you learned something, and I wish you guys all the luck in the world on this fat loss journey, because as we get older, boy, it is tough. It really is. And for those of you that are, 60s, 70s, postmenopausal, it can be really brutal. So I wish you the best of luck. And if you've made it this far in the video, please give it a like, share it with your friends. And if you've made it this far in the video, comment below with protocol. And that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. My next video will be a recipe, of course. And I'm not sure what I want to do exactly. If you have some ideas of recipes that you would like me to work on, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you like these kind of videos where I try to give you a little bit of education and a different type of video, not just a cooking video. This is mainly I did start this channel in the hopes of helping people get healthier, and recipes are a great way to do that. But I am a nurse by trade, and it's just in my nature to want to educate people and help people in that way. And as always, all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.